If you're a long-time listener of this podcast, you know I love my Z Fold 7. And just the other day, Samsung unveiled the Z Fold 8 series and the Z Flip 8. And guess what? The Fold 8 made me yawn. And that's the title of episode 41 of Tek With Josh. Let's talk about it. So, the first thing I want to put out there are the prices. They released 3 new phones, the Z Flip 8, which is the flip phone, the Z Fold 8, which isn't like the 7, because it's no longer a tall phone. That's the passport style. It's shorter and wider, which is what they're speculating the iPhone Fold will be, which I personally am not a fan of. And then the Z Fold 8 Ultra is the traditional fold. That's the longer body and the traditional, like the other Fold 1 through 7. So for 256 gigs for each model, the cheapest you're going to get one of these phones is the Flip 8, which is $1199.99. $1,200. I'm going to round up for each of them because it's a penny. The Z Fold 8, the passport, is $1,900. And the Z Fold 8 Ultra, the one I would get if I was getting any of these, is $2,100. And once again, this is 256 gigs. I have a 512 gig phone. That will run you $200 more for the Ultra, which is $2,300. That's a lot of money for a phone, which makes me still think the iPhone Fold is going to be over $2,500. Let's talk about specs now. If you get the base model in each of these, you're getting the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. What does that mean for the average person? Well, it's the fastest Snapdragon processor there is, and it's slightly overclocked for Samsung Galaxy devices. The base storages start with 12 gigabytes of RAM. Of course, there's no expandable memory for Samsung. And if you get the Fold 8 or the Fold 8 Ultra, you can get up to a terabyte storage, and those give you 16 gigabytes of memory for RAM. The Flip only goes to 512. You have 2 cameras on the Flip 8 and the Fold 8. So for $1,900, you're getting 50 megapixel wide and 50 megapixel ultra wide. The Flip is a 50 megapixel wide and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. There's no telephoto lens on a $1,900 phone. That is outrageous. To make matters worse, the Ultra has the same 200 megapixel wide camera as the previous year. It's rocking the 50 megapixel ultra wide, the same as last year, just slightly better. And the telephoto 3x optical zoom, are you ready for this? 10 megapixels. So they did not upgrade the cameras at all. And the front cameras for all the phones are 10 megapixels. As I stated, these cameras are not upgraded from the previous years. But don't worry, they did change something. The Fold phones still have the 3000 nits peak outdoor brightness. You have the 120 Hz screen on all 3. The Flip is 2600 nits, still bright enough for outside. And the cover screen, if you care about that, is Full HD 1080p. That's also 2600 nits, and you can rock in 60 Hz or 120 Hz. 120 Hz kill the battery, but it's smoother. But let's talk about the specs here. The biggest change, I've been talking about silicon carbide batteries because you can get so much more capacity, you know? And Samsung goes, we heard you. And guess what? They finally put a silicon carbide battery or silicon carbon battery into this. And you know how many milliamps you're finally getting? 5,000. You heard me right. You're getting 5,000 milliamps. Not 7,000, 6,000 like the Chinese phones I've spoken about. You're getting 5,000 milliamps. Basically the same thing you get normally. So you're not getting that much better battery life. And it's a joke. But guess what? They finally upped the charging speed on the Z Fold 8. You know, because I complained, the Fold 7 has a 25 watt max charging speed and 15 watts wireless charging speed. get ready for this, guys. You have 20 watts of wireless charging. And we now have super fast charging of 45 watts. Let me tell you that again. 45 watts. And I'm looking up the S26 Ultra charging speed as well. So the S26 Ultra, which costs a lot less, charging speed, you ready for this, with a 5,000 milliamp battery as well, just not silicon carbon, is 60 watts. So, and guess what? If you were to buy that, it is $12.99. So $1,300. So $800 cheaper. You get faster charging. Mind you, the Fold 8 Ultra is an Ultra phone just like the S26. Same battery capacity at 5,000. Worse cameras. But don't worry, there's zero crease now because of the new titanium layer. Everybody's praising this phone, but it's not a steal. I'd rather get a Chinese phone that folds, the Oppo, the Vivo, and guess what? They have way better cameras. They have Hasselblad partnership. They have better color sciences. The only problem is I don't like Color OS. But that's the thing, Samsung is not innovating anymore. All they're doing is saying, hey, we know you're gonna buy it. Let's give you these few features. The key features that they talk about is side-by-side multi-view. This is on the actual site for this. If you go key features, it's talk about the multitasking. We've had multitasking for how long? Oh, you could super steady video now with horizontal lock, and you can zoom in on and just mark a certain person so they're always in frame. It's called fan cam. The battery you've been waiting for at 5,000 milliamps is a joke. I kill my Z Fold 7 when I'm using heavy usage. And 45 watts is not that much. So why are they doing this? Because they know, as they say, we say Apple sheep. Well, there's Samsung sheeps that say, oh my god, this phone is amazing. And thing is, I don't know even if Pixel, when they come out with this year's Fold, is going to be anything spectacular. There's no phones that are exciting me this year. The iPhone 18 Ultra or 8 is going to be a passport style. I'm not getting that. The Pro Max, probably marginal updates. We're not doing anything special. And that's the problem. And 600 milliamps more than last year's phone. Semi creaseless now because of titanium level. The crease doesn't bother me. I've used, this is what, my third Fold. I had the Fold 3, the Fold 6, and now the Fold 7. Crease doesn't bother me. I'm a year in, I take care of my phone. There's still no real dust protection, no real ingress protection for water like the Pixel Fold series has. If you're spending $2,000, over $2,000 on the phone, and I know Samsung has great trade-ins. If I trade in my Z Fold 7, I get $1,200 off. The phone would cost me like $1,000 and some change before tax for the Fold 8 Ultra. But it's the same phone. As Flossie Carter often says, congratulations, you bought the same phone twice. Because it's not anything different. Honestly, if you're coming from Fold 3 to Fold 5, go for it. Fold 6 or 7, hold your breath. Because there's nothing special. Samsung is once again relying on their name and their features and their gimmicks than providing any innovations. You have silicon carbon batteries now, but you just say, you know what, we're going to make it the same battery as the S26 Ultra. The privacy screen was a gimmick, as I said in the S26 Ultra. The cameras on this are gimmicks. The horizontal lock wasn't new. The, focusing on the one person, keep them in focus is okay. But guess what? The cameras aren't that great. You're taking video on this phone. The Folds are never known for the camera. And that's the problem because they're using old camera techs on these phones. And people say, oh, it's because it's so thin, this and that. I don't like these thin phones. And they're not really going to cater for me. So hold your wallets in your pocket, save up, because right now tech is high because there's a memory crisis. And there's talks that iPhone 18 might not even come out this year. They might just do the Pro series and the Ultra. So that's really it for this episode of Tech with Josh. I had to make this episode because that announcement was that bad that I had to turn it off. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.